In this video, we are going to be discussing zip files, how to work with them, how to create them, how to extract files from them, and why they are so important when it comes to CAD files. So let's actually start there. Why are zip files important when it comes to CAD assemblies and drawings? So as you can see here, I've got an assembly. It's called the wheel assembly. This is a project that you will be doing this semester. This particular project is actually a combination of different part files. The way CAD systems work, particularly parametric software, is you create individual part files. All of these, I can open this for you. This is its own individual part. We create this, we save it, and then we close it out. We do the same with all of them. We've got a couple of brackets, got an axle, got a wheel, a bunch of nuts and bolts. All of that is created separately and then brought into an assembly file and put together. And essentially what that means is this assembly file is referencing all of these individual part files. So if you send me just this wheel assembly, which let's go to our file explorer. Here's our wheel assembly file. If you just send me this file without the rest of the part files, I will get this. I'll be able to see that all of this stuff is supposed to be here, but I will just get a blank screen. Same goes for drawing files, which I can show you as well here. Let me just start a new drawing. And you can see it brought in my wheel assembly into this drawing. And it's the same concept. If you send me just this drawing file and you don't send me the assembly as well as all of the parts, I will just get a blank sheet of paper. So, to make sure that I have all of the files that I need when I'm looking at your projects, we're going to use zip files. So let's go back to our file explorer. So here's all of the files associated with the wheel assembly. We have all of the individual part files as well as the overall assembly. And in some cases you will also have a drawing file to go along with it, but in this case it's just the assembly and the part files. Now we could have you submit each one of these files individually in Canvas. However, that's going to get very confusing for me, and it'll get very confusing for you as well. So instead, like I said, we're just going to use zip files. For those of you who don't know what a zip file is, it is essentially a folder. Now technically it is not actually a folder, but that's one way to look at it. It is a folder. It's a place where you put all of these files so that they stay together. Now, like I said, technically it's not actually a folder. What it does is it takes all of these files, it compresses them down into one type of file called a .zip, and it stores all of that information inside of that file. You can then send me that file and I can extract those files out of the .zip file. So, how to actually do it? It's very, very simple. You are going to just highlight all of the files that you want included in the zip file. You can do that like I just did by just click, drag, and selecting them all, or you can select them one at a time by left clicking, holding Control, and then clicking on each individual file that you want to include. Once you have all of your files selected, you're going to right click, go down to Send To, and you're going to select Compressed Zipped Folder. And that's going to create this file here. That is your zip file. See over here in Type, that's what it is, Compressed Zipped Folder. And the icon, let me make those a little bigger so you can see. The icon is a zipped up folder. And this is the file that you're going to send me. When you submit on Canvas, you don't need to now send me any of these files, only the zipped file. Now, little little things here. When you create your zip file, you want to make sure that it is named named appropriately. You want it named the top level. So if this is an assembly that you're submitting, you want to make sure that it's titled whatever that assembly is. You don't want to title it wheel or nuts or bolt or anything like that. And you want to pay attention when you create that zipped file. See how here it named it axle. Well, I don't want it named axle, I want wheel assembly. So before you click anywhere, you can just type in wheel assembly. That way I know what it is. Now, to make your life a little bit easier, one thing to know is once you have everything selected, wherever you right click, that's what it's going to name it. So if I right click on wheel assembly and then go to send to and compressed, it's going to name it wheel assembly. So just to make things much easier, just make sure you try to right click on the top level file that you're trying to send me. Now, once we have a zip file, again, this is going to be the file that you submit to me. The way I'm going to work with it is I now need to extract all of the information from this zipped file. And to do that, I'm going to right click on the zip file and I'm going to come down to extract all. That's going to bring this pop-up and it's going to tell me this is where it's going to put it. Generally speaking, it's going to try to put it whatever location I'm currently in, that's where it's going to try to create a folder for me. I can click browse and select somewhere else if this isn't where I want it to be, but for now this works. We'll just click extract and you can see it created a file folder. Do notice the icons are a little different. This is just a regular folder compared to the zipped folder from before. And if I go in here, it has all of the files that you sent me. Always want to be careful now when submitting files, especially, like I said, parametric files like these, because without any one of these files, I will not have a complete assembly. Now, do keep in mind, everybody does it. I have done it countless times, and chances are you are going to do it in this class as well. It's not the end of the world. You'll just get an email or a message from me saying, hey, you didn't send me all of the files, and then you'll just have to resubmit. If you have any questions on how to create or work with zip files, by all means, let me know.